A. Robert Smith. We must trust the process. When the Board of Trustees gathered the ARE staff together November 10 to announce another change of command, the fifth such change in a dozen years by my count, their process of looking for the right leaders reminded me of a scene from the movie, The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. The leading character, an old black woman who inspires her people by her wisdom and courage in the face of oppression, looks in the face of a newborn child and asks prayerfully, "Is you the one?" Each time the board introduces a newborn executive officer, we wonder, is he, or she, the one? Like Miss Pittman and her people, we keep looking for, and praying for, that messianic figure who can lead us to glory. If that, indeed, is part of the dynamic at work here, we have to ask ourselves if this is a reasonable expectation. Or are we investing too much of our idealistic hopes and dreams in these men and women who offer their services, work very hard to fulfill our expectations, and then are suddenly replaced after a few years' service? One of the incumbent executives offered another metaphor for this change, which seems particularly apt in this instance. It is that in our movement toward the promise, we are like a great flock of migratory birds, flying high in a giant V formation. Periodically, the lead bird drops back and another bird moves into the lead position for a while. And later another, and another, but the flock never falters and reaches its destination. Several staff members spoke eloquently of our frequent leadership changes as evolutionary in nature, each one contributing toward the fulfillment of our mission. "We must trust the process," said one of them. "It's also a bit like the Commonwealth of Virginia electing a governor, but never for more than 4 years. Re-election is not allowed. Time for another bird to take the lead." Using that analogy, perhaps ARE should give its new leaders a single term of 3 or 4 years and be done with the agony of whether to retain or replace them. It is gratifying that the board did not simply fault the incumbents as executives, but recognized their unique talents and assured their continued engagement in different capacities of the work. There is good precedent for this, after all, when you review the history of the Cayce Hospital, with EDGAR CAYCE as the head administrator. He gave it all he had, but business administration was not his strength and he handled the managerial job ineptly. Even if the Great Depression had not triggered its closure, a change of administrators surely would have followed. Edgar's remarkable talents were better used elsewhere. Another factor in ARE's challenging quest for effective leadership is that it is in transition from a family enterprise to becoming a global membership organization. 3 generations of Cayce family led us for 60 years or so, and only in this decade has the board faced the inevitability of investing authority in others. Many members love the feeling of family, which peaks during Congress Week when many of the same members gather at Virginia Beach like a big family reunion. But one of the choices our new leaders will have to make is whether to play to the family or try to expand the work into every nook and cranny of the globe. It's a question of vision, narrow or broad. As one who favors an expansive vision, I was heartened to note in one of the work readings, 25475, that Cayce warned against selecting trustees who might be so narrow as to hinder the active work of the association. The same might be said when choosing executives. Our challenge is to retain our distinctive identity and philosophy, based on the Cayce legacy, while making it relevant to people everywhere today. If we fail in that outreach, we are likely to dwindle in number, and like so many utopian groups that have appeared and vanished from the American scene, become a historical footnote on the sands of time instead of a real force for transformation.